Hello everyone! Welcome to the World Tapping Circle. I'm your host, Sonya Sophia, and I am so glad that you're here with me and here with all the other beautiful souls who are logging in from all over the planet, ready to feel good, ready to release, ready to remember how to process and how to grow, finding that beautiful, stable, loving place inside of ourselves, brightening up our interior so that we radiate and glow. I'm super happy that you decided to do the live stream or watch this on replay, or maybe you found it months from now in the video library. Whatever it is, you're in the right place at the right time. So today's circle is called Rising Up Renewed. And I think it's very fitting for this beautiful springtime that we're in. I got to see some gorgeous flowers and lay on the grass and look at the trees and sit in the sunshine. It was so nourishing for my soul. So I hope that you're finding time and space to step into the sunshine, take off your shoes, put them in the dirt. Not your shoes, your feet. Put your feet in the dirt. And give yourself that deep connection back to nature, back to reality. I'm going to say hello to those of you who are logging into the chat and chiming in from all over the planet, where you are. I'd like to know where you are and how you be right now. How are you feeling? See, scrolling back, I see Jordan H. here from Wisconsin with my parents' first circle. Hi, Mom and Dad. I'm super happy that you're doing this together. That's a loving thing to do. Mark R. in LA. Hey, Mark. Miss seeing you lately. Gregory, back as usual in Eureka, California. Charlotte in Colorado. Diane in Bellingham, Washington. Mike V. says hello. Corey S. in Weiss, Wisconsin. Shelly B. in New Brunswick, Canada. Lori V. in Oakland. Tracy L. First live circle. Very excited to be here from British Columbia, Canada. Yay! Meredith from Sun Valley, Idaho. Catherine S. Denise in San Diego. Shanley in Austin. Noreen K. says good morning. Blessings to all in Noreen. From Noreen in Queensland, Australia. It's quite early in the morning in Australia, isn't it? Tara from Brisbane. Wow, a lot of Australians in the house. Way to go, Australia. Cheryl in Colorado. Catherine in New Mexico. Oakland. I see so many people. Tyrus saying Ashland, Oregon. Tina in Bali. Sterling in Missouri. Tara in Chico. It goes on and on, y'all. I'm not going to spend our whole time shouting out, but I see you all. I see so many people here. And I'm really, really grateful. So today's tap, we're going to go back to our original format, which we haven't done in the last 4 or 5 weeks. We are going to use the core causes questions today. So in case you haven't experienced tapping with me since we paused the core causes questions for a minute, I'll just give you a heads up that after you pick your topic today, we'll do a 5-minute survey. You'll see a button pop up that says get started, and that'll give you a chance to kind of get down underneath your issue and see if there are any underlying aspects to it, and then be able to tap from that deeper place, having kind of called some new information up from your subconscious. So digging up all the old roots, pulling things out, making this nice, clean place for things to grow fresh and new from. That's what we're going to do today. So today's topic, the offer is to ask yourself, where is a place that feels scary or hard or stagnant, something that's been triggering you during all of this? Maybe it has to do with the situation at hand. I know that's difficult for people, but maybe also during this situation, you're finding something else is also coming up for you. A lot of us had have had more time to be still. It's disrupted our routines, it's disrupted our busyness, and suddenly we're left alone, facing ourselves, facing our habits, facing our thoughts, our judgments, our fears. This is going to be a great moment to get in there and scrub that stuff out so you have this beautiful, fresh garden inside you to nourish and grow what truly matters and to level up. And I promise you the fruits of those labors will be sweet and well worth the work. So, thinking to yourself, if I could wave a magic wand and heal one part of myself or my life or my reactions that would make a big difference to me, what would that be? And choose that for your topic today. Remember, this video is recorded. You can do this session 20 more times on 20 different subjects. So don't try to do your entire life at once. Just one little thing. Okay? All right, let's roll the core causes questions. We'll use that issue as the issue. And then I'm going to put you through those questions and we'll start tapping right after that. I'll see you guys in 5. All right, hopefully that was enlightening. And now we're going to start tapping. So it's call and response. I'm going to say some words. You're going to repeat after me. If there's something that doesn't feel aligned for you, go ahead and change it. Feel free to edit those sentences I'm giving you so they more accurately fit your own situation, even if it's the opposite of what I'm saying. For those of you who are new to tapping, I want you to know that you're in charge of this session. You get to decide how deep you go and how brave you're going to be. And as you're tapping along, you might feel your body off-gassing stored stress from the nervous system. Literally, memory and data is coming out of your body, leaving you cellularly so that you are clean and clear and aligned in these areas. And that can look and feel a little intense. So I want you to make sure you breathe deeply as you do this. And you pace yourself. You might feel yawning, burping, laughing, coughing, crying, shivers, tingles. You might not feel anything. You might just have sudden realizations and connect the dots. Basically, all we're doing is teaching your brain how to accept love, empathy, compassion, and getting that into your body. And that's where the magic happens. You'll see. Following along with me. We're going to just start by acknowledging where you're at. Big, deep breath. Massaging the front of the chest, finding these sore spots in the front of the chest. Big, deep breath. Repeating after me. Even though I have this issue, and when I say this issue, you fill in the blank about what you're tapping about. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the eyebrows. This issue. Sliding down to the side of the eyes. This issue with, and then say the name of your issue again. Tapping the front of the cheeks. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. And breathe. Tapping under the nose. I don't like having this issue. Tapping under the lips. I really don't like having this issue. Tapping the chest. A part of me wants to ignore this. Hide it. Push it away. Tapping down to the front of the ribs, bottom of the rib cage. Big deep breath. Tapping the side of the ribs so you can cross your arms like this. You're going to do the side seam of your body. Or you can do the back of your knuckles. Big deep breath. I'm so used to ignoring or avoiding this. And then say what it is. Tapping the inside of the wrist on the wrist bone. I accept the part of me that still has resistance to facing this. Big deep breath. Give yourself some compassion. Tapping the side of the thumb. This part of me feels stagnant, stuck. Tap the index finger. This part of me feels, and then fill in the blank for yourself. How does it feel for you? Tap that middle finger, repeating that same feeling again. This issue makes me feel how? Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm open to loving and expressing myself. Tapping the little finger. Even though there's so much, and then say that same negative feeling again, like frustration or fear. Big, deep, noisy breath. Big sigh. Tapping the side of the hand. I accept the part of me that secretly thinks I'll be stuck like this forever. Tapping the top of the head. This part of me doesn't think things will ever change. Doesn't know how things will ever change. Tapping the eyebrows. I give myself permission to create a new place. Tapping the temples. A place that this was living inside me. Tap the cheeks. Creating a new place for peace, for balance. Tapping under the nose. For new life to emerge. Tapping under the lips. I allow myself to have a spring clean. Tapping the chest. Releasing this old sensation of what physical sensation comes along with this issue. So to find out, I want you to think about the issue that you're tapping on and notice how your body feels when you think about it. Is it tension in your stomach or pressure in your shoulders? Maybe it's a sensation of wanting to leave your body. Tapping down to the front of the ribs. I accept the part of me that stores my stress like this. Tap the side of the ribs. I'm open to releasing what's underneath this. Big deep breath. Tapping the inside of the wrist. Let's do the opposite wrist now. So in the core causes questions, I asked you what you thought might be underneath it or related to this. What do you think is underneath this? Tapping the side of the thumb. Say it out loud. It's possible that I'm still holding on to, and then take 10 seconds to say what you think is there. Tapping the index finger. I'm open to loving and forgiving myself for not being able to process this sooner. Tapping the middle finger. I accept the part of me that is so tired of struggling with this. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. This part of me that's been suffering. Tapping the little finger. I deeply and completely accept myself. If that's too hard to say, I'm open to deeply and completely accepting myself. Tapping the side of the hand. I accept the part of me that is still recovering from, and then say what you think it is. Tapping the top of the head. Even though part of me blames, and then say who you blame, whether it really is their fault or not. Maybe you start with, I blame myself, I blame mom, I blame dad, I blame grandma, I blame grandpa. And the reason why we're tapping about this isn't actually to blame them, it's to notice the part of us that is still holding a grudge, which is limiting our energy, blocking the flow of love. Tapping the eyebrows. I accept this part of me that wants to hold on to this. Tapping the temples. In an effort to what? Is it to protect yourself? Or to be more like that person? It may sound funny, but sometimes we pick up limiting attributes. As children, we build them into our personalities through watching and listening. And we want to stay like the people around us, even if at that point in their evolution, when they were raising us, they might not have been too self-aware. They might have had a lot of pain or circumstances. So tapping the chest. For whatever reason, I'm holding on to this, including, and then list 2 or 3 reasons you think you might be holding on to these memories, these feelings, this blame. Tapping under the nose. I give myself permission to heal this. Tapping under the lips. At a root level, tapping the chest. To heal this for myself, for my family, for the people I love, and for the people who love me. Tapping the front of the ribs. It's safe for me to process this. Tapping the side of the ribs and breathe. Tapping the inside of the wrist. I forgive myself for anything I've done that has continued this problem. Tapping the side of the thumb. And I'm open to the possibility of forgiving everyone involved. Big, deep breath. Thinking about who that might be. Tapping the index finger. I'm open to releasing this from my family story. Tapping the middle finger. And the way it's affected my own life, my own feelings. Tap the bottom of the 4th finger. My relationships. Tap your little finger. And my body. Big deep breath. Tapping the side of the hand. I allow myself to release feelings of, and what negative feelings are still there for you. Maybe it's shame, maybe it's anger, maybe it's embarrassment, maybe it's all of those things. Name what you can, and tap the top of your head, releasing feelings of, and say those feelings. Big deep breath. And for those of you who are tapping with family or friends right now, if it feels awkward to say those feelings, think them loudly in your own head and breathe. Tapping the eyebrows. We're all healing this together. Tapping the temples. It's safe to release this from myself. Tap the cheeks, from my body. Tapping under the nose, no matter how long it's been here. Tapping under the lips, or how justified it is. Tapping the chest. So let's talk about that for a minute. A lot of times we hold on to things not so much because we want to, but because it feels like justice needs to be done. We haven't received an apology, or so-and-so didn't learn their lesson, or I didn't teach myself that lesson, or I don't trust that I learned my lesson, or they learned their lesson. Tapping the front of the ribs. I'm allowing myself to learn from this and to finally fully recover my energy. Tap the side of the ribs. Even though it feels justifiable to hold on to this indefinitely, tap the inside of the wrist. To gain what? What would it give you to hold on to this? And breathe. Tapping the side of the thumb. There's another part of me that's ready to turn over a new leaf and to grow something else. Tap the index finger. I'm ready for this space to be mine again. Tap the middle finger. So I want you to look again at why you said you might want to hold on to it. And remember, you can hold on to this for the rest of your life if you want to. Let's say that for a second. I can hold on to this for the rest of my life if I want to. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. And a part of me is tired of holding on to this. Tap the little finger. Even if I'm afraid that if I let it go, what do you think might happen if you release this pain, if you release this stress, if you release this belief? If you finally let this move out of you. Tapping the top of the head. I accept the part of me that wants to hold on to it because I'm afraid that if I let it go, what do you think will happen? We got 30 seconds. Name all the freaky, terrible things you think might happen if you let this go. It doesn't matter if they make sense. These are feelings we're talking about. I might get taken advantage of. I might get hurt. Maybe they won't see their part in it. Tap the chest. I'm allowing myself to release and to heal. Tap the front of the ribs. Tune in and see if holding on to this has actually been giving you the very experience you're trying to avoid. Tap the side of the ribs. I accept the part of me that may have accidentally been causing this sadness, this anger, this stress. Tap the inside of the wrist. By holding on to these fears and feelings, by holding on to this injustice. Tapping the side of the thumb. It's safe to release this stress and this story from my body. Tapping the index finger. It's safe to release the stress and this story. I want you to either take 30 seconds to describe your story or tap and really think about the details. There's probably some part of a memory, maybe it happened very recently, but maybe it happened a long time ago, and the thing that's bothering you now has to do with that more than it has to do with now. So tap your middle finger and either talk about it or think loudly about this memory. And I want you to tell the story or think the story loudly for 1 minute as we tap the bottom of the fourth finger. It all started back when keep tapping, tapping the little finger, tapping and talking. How old were you? Tapping the side of the hand. Keep talking. Tapping up to the top of the head. And what did you decide as that was happening? What did you decide was true about you or true about someone else or true about the world? Tapping the eyebrows. I decided. Tap the temples. Check in and see if that is a belief that you want governing your life behind the scenes. Tapping the cheeks. Let's say it out loud. Do I want to still believe that the world is a dangerous place? Whatever your belief is. Tapping under the nose. Ask it again. Do I want to continue believing this? Tapping under the lips. It's possible a part of me wants to hold on to this. Tapping the chest. And another part of me is ready to create something else. And breathe. So let's talk about creating for a second. For example, if you had the belief from your childhood that this world is a dangerous place, you might look around, feel very triggered right now and say, okay, now it's really, really dangerous. It feels dangerous. I'm being told it's dangerous. I feel validated and I want to hold on to that belief. But how can a world full of people create a world that is safe and loving and kind, intelligent, sustainable, smart, connected, if we all walk around holding on to these beliefs of againstness, of fear, of danger? People who are feeling like the world is in danger create more structures to protect themselves, but they stay afraid. So when I challenge myself to say, I'm actually going to create a world where I feel safe, I'm going to start right here inside me. I'm going to hold that I'm safe, that I can process these old fears and memories, and that no matter what they're telling me out there that I'm safe, guess what happens to your mood? It goes up. Guess what happens when your mood goes up? Serotonin, vasopressin, oxytocin, life-enhancing neurochemicals start to flow in your body. When they flow in your body, your immune system is strengthened by at least 50% within 10 minutes. Okay, now the world isn't such a scary place. It's a safer place. People are healthier. People are recovering, all because we made this internal choice. Tapping the front of the ribs. I give myself permission to examine these limiting beliefs that may have started a long time ago. Tapping the side of the ribs, including the idea that, what limiting belief are you working on right now? Tapping the inside of the wrist. What would the opposite of this limiting belief be? So if you believe that the world is a scary place, it would be that I'm safe no matter where I am and what I'm doing. That I am safe. Tap the side of the thumb. I give myself permission to carry this thought, to try on this new idea. Tap the index finger. Big deep breath. Tap the middle finger. Let's say it with a little more enthusiasm now. What's your positive statement going to be? I want you to say it like you mean it so that your body can hear it and feel it. Tapping the side of the bottom of the fourth finger. I give myself the possibility of planting this new idea, and say your new idea. Tap the little finger. And letting it take root inside me. I get to decide what is true for me. Tap the side of the hand. I get to decide from the depth of my being what I choose to believe is true about me. Tapping the top of the head. It's possible that I'm worthy of love. Tapping the sides of the head, at the back of the head. It's possible that I'm learning growing, recovering my strength and energy now. Tapping the eyebrows, tapping the temples. It's possible I'm healing. Tapping the cheeks. I allow myself, tapping under the nose, to believe, and then say your positive belief as you tap on your chin. Tapping the chest. I release any need to shame or blame, to stay angry or afraid. Tapping the front of the ribs. I'm getting my life force back. Tap the side of the ribs. Now I can feel some of you saying, I am not getting my life force back. So let's say that for a minute. And let's stomp our feet. I'm not getting my life force back. I'm not getting my life force back. It's not going to happen for me. Big breath. Tap the inside of the wrist. If I allowed myself to feel better, what do you think would happen? What's the first thing that comes to mind? If I allow myself to feel better, I would what? Tapping the side of the thumb. And then what would happen? Blurt it out. Tapping the index finger. And then what would happen? How good can you stand it? Tap the middle finger. And then I would have to do what? Big noisy breath, make some sound. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. I give myself permission to stretch and blossom and grow. Tap the little finger. Why is this important? Well, what do you think is going to stretch and blossom and grow this world into a new shape and a new capacity? It's going to take people, yeah? People who have stretched and blossomed and grown to know how to hold that space, how to give those orders, how to do that work, how to show up again and again and actually not take anything else as an answer. So, tapping the chest and just listening for a second. If I refuse to be cowed and bullied by my past and even by whatever I'm hearing around me, and I hold myself in a loving way, I'm going to feel more healthy. I'm going to feel more powerful. If I do that, and you do that, and thousands and thousands and thousands of us do that, guess what? This world's going to change very quickly. Tapping the top of the head. Here we go. Here we grow. I give myself permission to accept this remaining resistance about, say, your issue. Big noisy breath. Tuning in, scanning. Where do I still have resistance? Why do I want to hold on to this pain, this feeling? Tapping the eyebrows. I'm allowing myself the possibility of completely recycling this. Tapping the cheeks, even if my parents never did this. Tapping under the nose. And I'm the first one in the family. Tapping under the lips. Even though I might be secretly afraid of disconnecting. Tapping the chest. Who would I be if I let this go? So notice that there may be a part of the mind, the ego, the sense of self that's dissolving. Well, yeah. Right? The seed has to let go of its shell to turn into a sprout. The sprout has to let go of being a sprout to turn into a tree. It's going to feel a little awkward as we're growing. We don't know what kind of tree we're going to be. We don't know how long it's going to take, right? Tapping the front of the ribs. And for sure, it takes step by step. And eventually we see what we really are. Tap the side of the ribs. I give myself permission. Repeat after me. I give myself permission to take this next step. Tapping the inside of the wrist. What do you think part of the next step is for you? Tune into your issue. And notice what's still there. Is it something someone said to you? Is it an exact phrase? Is it a feeling we haven't tapped about yet? Take a few seconds and notice what is still holding this thing together. Tapping the side of the thumb, here we grow again. I give myself permission to notice and then say whatever's still there. This feeling of exhaustion, this feeling of futility, whatever it is. Tapping the index finger. I accept for now this feeling of, and then say what it is. Tapping the middle finger. Releasing this trapped energy from my body that's taken the form of, how does this energy show up for you? Is it tiredness? Is it feeling edgy, frantic? Wanting to eat all the time? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I give myself permission to release this remaining, and then say what's still there for you. Tap the little finger. And we're just wiggling this knot, pulling it one way, pulling it the other, letting it stay, telling it can go. Tap the side of the hand. I give myself permission to hold on to this last little piece, or this next big piece, whatever's there, for as long as that's working well for me. Give yourself permission to have it, to take it to your grave. Just try it. I know it sounds crazy, but just try it. I give myself permission to hold on to this for the rest of my life. Tap the top of the head. Breathe. Give yourself permission to do that. Tapping the sides of the head, the back of the head, the top of the head. Back to the eyebrows. What happened when you gave yourself permission to hold on to this? Put it in the chat. What had just happened inside you when you said, okay, have it? That's right. Someone says, my whole family is holding on to this. Kai says, no. Sierra said, a feeling of control. Meredith said, I couldn't say it out loud. A part of me went, oh, hell no. I needed this to work. I can't give up. And someone else says, a feeling like I could finally release it. Ursula says, tingles in my head and a yawn. Noreen says, I burped more. Bijan said, I let it go. Dora says, it gives me the freedom to make the decision. Josephine says, relief. Okay. Gregory says, it became obvious that what I was holding on to is absurd. I ought to just let it go. Great. So notice that when you're attacking or fighting yourself, telling yourself to do it, the other part of you is like, oh no, I'll fight you to the death. But when you do the Aikido move, it's like, okay, have it. Sit in your poopy pants as long as you want to. Like, well, maybe I don't want to sit in my poopy pants anymore. Or I'm doing it because it gives me control. Okay. Notice what your game is with love. We all have different strategies to survive. Coming back to the tap, massaging the chest. I can hold on to this pain, these memories, this completely understandable issue for as long as I want to. Tap the eyebrows. And it's possible I no longer want to. Tapping the temples. Let's talk about power and control now. Tapping the cheeks. I give myself permission to really want to release this, even if it changes me. Woo! Big breath, tapping under the lips. Even if it changes me. Tapping the chest. It might change me. It might change the way I feel, where I go, what I say, what I do, and my ability to do what? What do you think would change for the better as you continue to say yes in releasing these pent-up fears and feelings? Tapping the front of the ribs. Tapping the side of the ribs. I give myself permission to take back my power. Tap the inside of the wrist because I have something more important to nurture now than this sadness, than this fear, or than this old resentment. Tap the side of the thumb, or the family tradition. And breathe. Tapping the index finger. What are you going to create here? What are you choosing to nurture? It has something to do with your new positive belief. Tap the middle finger. I give myself permission to nurture what? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. Let's say it again. I give myself permission to nurture and care for and grow this part of myself. Tap the little finger and breathe. So, back to the garden analogy, tapping the side of the hand. What are 2 things you can do this week that would do exactly that, that would nurture this part of you? Maybe it's practicing something. Vulnerability, honesty, authenticity. Maybe it's practicing something physically, like getting back into your yoga, exercising, going on a walk, practicing a musical instrument. What are you going to practice this week that will directly affect the power of this work you're doing right now in a positive way? To keep it growing. So it's okay to plant a seed, dig up a hole, plant a seed, but then you have to water it and check on it. Make sure that it gets enough light. Make sure it stays moist. Without overdoing it, right? You don't want to flood it out. But you want to make sure that you're nurturing this inside you. So put that in the chat. What are you going to do this week to nurture? 2 things you're going to do to nurture this new space that you're opening up in this session that will help renew and recharge you. Make that commitment right now. I'm going to go on a walk. Might be as simple as like, I'm going to take a shower more often. Andrea says, sing and do yoga. 2 very uplifting choices. Christina says, I'm going to pray, meditate, and attend more meetings. Jordan says, I'm going to check in with my higher self 3 times a day. Mom will do yoga. Great. Anyone vote for doing more tapping? Do you think that would help? Guess what? I have hundreds of sessions in your video library that comes with the live circle. You will find that at worldtappingcircle.com members area, upper right hand corner of the page. Lots of videos, short ones and long ones, for you to grow with and nurture and continue excavating and healing. Meredith says tapping and dance. Catherine says, I'm going to buy nicotine patches and keep a journal of my craving. There's a tap for cravings in the members area as well. Appreciate nature. Look for the good. Add positive affirmations to my yoga practice. Beautiful. Tapping with my partner, Julian, who's here tapping with me now. That's such a wonderful thing to do with partners and families. I'm so pleased for you. Meditation and tapping 20 minutes minimum a day, yoga and dance. Great. We're going to wrap this up. So coming back to the tapping your chest. Think about the issue that you brought to Circle. And I want you to see how it feels now. In the core causes questions, I asked if you could rate it from 1 to 10. What number of intensity would you have given this issue? And I'd like to hear now where this issue is for you from that scale. Maybe it started out low, then it peaked because you really realized that it was kind of numb. Then it went down. Maybe it started out high and just gradually went down. Let's see where you're at with it now. Go ahead and put that in the chat. Danielle R says a 10 to a 1. Boom! Gold star for you. Catherine says it went to an 8 to a 3. That is a lot easier to deal with. Marianne, a 6 to a 0. Shelley, a 9 to a 6. Denise, an 8 to a 2. Rosemary says 8 to a 10 to a 0 to a 2. So that means there's a new piece of that coming in there at the end as she's finding a new thread to follow. Very good work. Diana, a 9 to a 4. Some fear of it returning back to high, but grateful to be here now. Keep tapping on those other presenting aspects. Use these sessions. This is really kind of a bite-sized piece, and you might need like the whole dinner. You've got hours and hours of free tapping at your disposal. You could really do some deep, deep healing work for yourself during this blessed time that we get to go inside and grow inside, which actually is what the world has been needing for a long time, for us to slow down and prioritize what's happening inside, because what's happening inside is actually what's causing what's happening outside. People make the planet. So as we remake ourselves in love, we remake our connections, we reevaluate our priorities, we reappreciate things that money can't buy, we come out and change the world to be rectified and realigned and redesigned by that. So as usual in these circles, I'm going to leave you with a beautiful song. Songs that will support many beautiful artists. We'll give you the name of the song and the artist as we begin to play it. Also want to let you know that I'm super psyched because as of right before Circle, we have 778 new members. Many of them are here for free. If you can donate to this Circle, you can help us keep it going. So Magnus or Austin, please put up the donate button. Enjoy this beautiful song. by Mary Isis called Forever. And until next time, I will see you in the circle. I'll make